up, my people? This week we are talking about weekly rituals. And as you can see, I'm joined here by my lovely assistant, Bowie, my golden retriever. He's just gonna hang out there while we talk. So we are talking about weekly rituals. How do we create weekly moments for us to just take stock, set an intention for the following week? This week, I will be telling you everything that I do every week religiously to make sure I'm on track and living my best life. Like and subscribe, drop me a comment. Let's dive in. Okay, so for me, as far as weekly rituals go, there's really only one set of rituals that I do without fail. I've always wanted to be one of those people that did rituals to close out the week on Fridays. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but the one that is a non-negotiable for me is my Sunday weekly ritual. What happens on Sundays is I follow a checklist, right? I go through a specific checklist of things that I do with a big cup of coffee. I light a candle. I get my journal out, my day planner out. I mean, I get weird with it. In fact, I'm a big Hobonichi girl, and this is my Hobonichi. Big fan. So on a Sunday morning, I get myself all dialed in with snacks and with a hot beverage and my candle, and I do my checklist. And the checklist starts with one thing. What am I proud of from last week? Part of what makes the Sunday scaries so scary is that we have this vague sense of anxiety, did I do enough last week? I don't even remember what last week even was. I mean, what even is weeks anymore in this weird COVID nonsense that we're in? So I always start by saying, what am I proud of from last week, right? What should I feel good about? And doing that instantly gives me that little just shot of confidence. The second thing in my checklist is to ask the question, where am I in the month, right? In a given month, there's a bunch of stuff that's got to happen. And on a Sunday, if I look not just at the week coming, but in the subsequent weeks coming, are there things I need to be thinking about? Are there things I need to start strategizing on? So by orienting myself first, what am I proud of? Two, where am I in the month? I don't shock myself with some oh my God, I forgot I have to give a talk on blah, blah, blah next week. It's always accounted for. It's always in there. So that's number two. Number three, what are last week's to-dos that should have happened and didn't? And when you're in that zone of looking at what didn't get done last week, notice if there's something that just keeps on not getting done. At some point, do you want to just cut it loose and surrender it to the four winds? Or do you need to schedule it into the calendar to make sure it happens? And if it's something that's fraught that you've been procrastinating on because you're scared of it, or you're avoidant, or you're feeling dread or whatever, get clear about that. Have that conversation with yourself. You know what? I need to renew my passport, but I find the whole process of passport renewal so overwhelming, I just can't even deal with it. That's important to know, right? Because then what you can do is just set a timer. You know what? It is overwhelming. I'm going to spend 15 minutes on it every day until it's done. 15 minutes, doable, and then schedule it. So when you migrate your things that didn't get done into this week, make sure they're worth doing. And if they are worth doing and you're avoiding it because you're afraid or you're procrastinating, just have a little conversation with yourself. What am I reacting to? What am I afraid of? Don't shame yourself. Just get honest. Make a plan, okay? My calendar is digital, but I do my weekly planning on paper in my Hobonichi Techo planner, which I'm obsessed with. I'm a huge fan. So once you've kind of migrated everything from last week, look at what you got going on this week. Are there any big meetings or big deliverables that you need to block out time to prep for or work on? And once you've gotten that lay of the land of what's already in your schedule, if there are open pockets of time, block those out for yourself so you can focus on the big things that matter, that are driving your career or your job forward. One of the greatest mistakes we make is we don't block out time for our own selves in all of this. And so we just end up being on everybody else's agenda all the time, responding to everybody else's emails and meeting requests, and not executing on the 2 to 3 things that are guaranteed to move our careers forward. That's what you want to do next. Block out the time for you. Once I've got that all blocked out, then I plan my workouts. Look, the truth of it is my clients and my work have to come first. And I find ways to work out around that, right? So I might work out on a half-hour block between meetings, or I might get up a half hour early. I usually only work out for 30 minutes because it's all I have time for. And the science shows that it's actually enough. But once you've blocked out your time to make progress on your big things, make sure you're paying yourself in the form of exercise. And while you're at it, do some meal planning. Do you need to think through what your dinners are this week? Handle it all on a Sunday, and your week gets so much easier. I think so many of us resist getting into work mode on a Sunday because it's the Sabbath. And if it is your Sabbath, do this on a Saturday. It doesn't have to be a Sunday. Or if Saturday is your Sabbath, do it on, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. The point is, a lot of times we get Sunday scaries and we feel like Monday blues coming on because we're just overwhelmed by all the work we have yet to do. We haven't taken stock of what has already been done, and it starts to close in on us, and we start to dread and have anxiety. I'll be honest, this whole process probably takes a good 90 minutes for me. But on a quiet Sunday morning, it feels so good to be in control. Doing this weekly ritual reduced my Monday blues and anxiety by 70%. I am not even kidding. And by the time I'm done, I think to myself, I can handle this. I got this. And if there's something really worrying me that I'm really stressed about, it gives me time to build in prep time so I don't have to be stressed about it when the moment comes, right? So really, really consider just a 90-minute or 45-minute, if you can't spare 90 minutes, to just get clear about what the week is going to demand of you. And be there for yourself. Make sure you don't skip the meal planning and the workout planning and meditation planning if that's part of your jam. You would think I would recommend doing that first, but I don't. I think you got to figure out what the work situation is and then build in everything around that. Because if you're like me, the work is what drives everything. And so I want to make sure that that is high and tight, which allows me to relax and then plan the rest of the stuff. But everybody's got to do what they got to do. But if you're in a place where you hate your job so much that you don't want to do anything on a Sunday to plan, you would rather get a root canal than think about work on a Sunday. Here's the thing. Do not ignore that. That is a sign that there is some higher calling you are called to, that your good may be found elsewhere, right? It may be time to dust off that resume and start having some conversations with yourself around what are your gifts? What is the market willing to pay for those gifts? How might you create more space for that in your life instead of being in this hamster wheel with this job that you hate so much you can't even take an hour and a half on a weekend to just plan for the following week? Or maybe you get up early on a Monday, 90 minutes early, and do it on a Monday if your weekends are so sacred. My point is, do not ignore when there is a voice inside of you that says, I hate this job. I hate this. I hate it here. I hate my life in this job. Do not ignore that. Take incremental steps to turn down the volume on the job that you hate and up the volume on something that you'd be really good at that you love. That also pays the rent. It's possible, people. I think there's a misconception that you have to burn the boats and do it all at once and leave your job and have no backup plan. No, that is not my jam. Sorry, Tony Robbins. I know that's your jam. It is not my jam. Those of us, especially those of us who are parents, those of us who are women, we can't afford to do that. We got to be mindful and create a little bit of what we love and more and more and more until it replaces all the stuff we hate and we're only left with what we love, which is what I did in my career, which means you can too. So I hope that was helpful, my people. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. And as always, thank you for being here. Shine on. We need your light.